So I picked up this Megadrive from Retro World in Derby, and it says here that it's spares and repairs because the red light's not working and there's a flashing display. So I think let's switch it on and check out and see what's happening. Yep, it's definitely no LED, but it does power up. Okay, so we've lost display, and I'd actually say this is a bit worse than a flashing display. The whole thing seems corrupted. I'm just running this on a composite lead. That's the only lead I've got. So I think let's just crack this Megadrive open and see if we can get it fixed. The first thing I'm going to do is take out the 6 screws in the bottom, but there actually seems to be 2 missing here. I'm guessing this has already been opened before. Anyway, let's get these 4 screws out. And we can take the top off, and you have to be a bit careful because of the LED light, but not in my case because it's already broken. You can see here the red wire's snapped out of the connector. It's also pretty grimy in here. There's lots of little dust bunnies, dirt and filth. So I think once we've got it open, we'll give it a really good clean as well. So let's just unbutton all the shielding. So we'll just whip out all the screws. Let's just take this little noggin out here. And the shielding should just pop away quite soon. Oh, a bit stuck. Yeah, there we go. Looks like there was a bit of a thermal paste spillage here. So we'll need to clean all this up, get it off the heatsink. But I think for now, let's just get the 2 voltage regulators detached from the heatsink so that we can get access to the board underneath. Oh, let's just grab that. Now we can get the other one. There we go, almost there. Yep, let's just whip the screw away. Now we can just move the power connector out of the way. And we can also detach the headphone jack. Let's not forget the 2 screws that are at the cartridge port. You won't be able to take the board out without taking these out. Oh, a bit sticky. There we go. Got ya. I think this is the last screw. Let's whip that out of the way. Now we should be able to lift the board clear of the case. There we go. Nice. Okay, so let's finish detaching the heatsink because you've got these 2 screws on the underside of the board. And I think I'm just going to whip round and clean some of the filth off of the board. It's not actually as bad as I thought, but there is quite a lot of dust on here. So I think we'll just give it a quick whip over with some IPA. Just get the worst of it off. Cartridge port doesn't actually look too bad, but I'm just going to get in there with a bit of IPA and the toothbrush just to give the pins a bit of a clean. But yeah, the actual cartridge port doesn't seem too bad. So I'm just going to put a bit of contact cleaner on the switch for the volume control and for the power switch as well. Just get right in there. Let's just wiggle that switch across a few times just to make sure we're getting a nice good contact between the switch and the contacts. And again, just do the same for the volume control. In fact, I think let's just get right in there with a cotton bud and see how much we can clean up there. I mean, you can see there's actually quite a lot coming off on the cotton bud. So I think that's a good job done. And I think we should just give the ports on the back a little clean as well, just in case they're causing any issues with the picture themselves. We'll just try and get in there with a toothbrush. I think what I'll do when I finish this is just test to see if the cleaning has actually made any difference whatsoever. You never know, this could be the shortest video in the world and we fixed it with just a clean. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Anyway, let's just power it up and take a look. No, we're getting exactly the same problems. Yeah, there's no difference here, so I think we're just going to have to delve a little bit deeper. So I think firstly I'm just going to check the voltage regulators just to make sure we're getting a nice 5 volts going through to the board. So let's just check the positive pin. Yeah, we've got 8.45 volts coming in, which is probably within the boundaries of okay. Ground seems fine. And we've got 5 volts coming out, so all seems okay. And we've got 8.47 coming in. Nothing on ground, which is good. And let's check out 4.98. So I don't think there's actually any issue with these voltage regulators. So we've given everything a really good clean. And I've also checked the voltage regulators and power seems to be getting through fine and the voltages seem to be okay. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is actually just take a look at the capacitors. Let's get some of these swapped out for some brand new ones, see if that's going to fix our problem. Let's inspect some of the caps just to see if there's any problems with the caps. I mean, these don't look too bad. I can't see any bulging. There's nothing leaking out that I can see. Maybe on this one, there's a little bit of gunk there, but it could also just be a little bit of spilt flux or something. Possibly bulging, but if it is, it's tiny. Again, I can't see any issues with these capacitors, but to me, it seems like it's the easiest fix we could make and the most likely problem. You need to remove the old ones out first, so to do this you could actually use solder wick. If you are going to go around and use solder wick, I would suggest you come in and just add a little bit of fresh solder to all the components just to help loosen up the solder. A little bit of low melt or leaded solder will just help loosen up the old joints. And then you can come in with your solder wick, make sure you've got plenty of flux on there, and it should soak up the old solder into the wick. There we go. So you're probably going to have to give everything a couple of passes to get all the wick up, to get all the solder up. So let's just run through these ones. I'm going to use wick on these 2 capacitors, and then to be honest, I don't think I've got the patience for going through this and doing the whole thing with solder wick. So we'll move on to the vacuum pump to suck up all the old solder. But I just wanted to show it would be possible with solder wick if you've got time and patience. Well, that took a bit longer than I expected, but got there in the end. Now we can just pop in the new capacitors. So you want to make sure you put the positive and the negatives the right way around. The board should be marked up and the negative side is the side with the stripe. So let's just get those popped in. There we go. Just giving them a little bend because that's how they came out when I took them out. Now we can come in and add some flux. And we can add our fresh solder. Oh dear. I haven't quite got my iron hot enough. There we go. So we've soldered those imperfectly into place. Let's just snip these off. Ooh, trimmed that one a bit low. Never mind. I think I'd actually put a bit too much solder on anyway, to be perfectly honest. And there we go, got our first 2 caps installed. So for the rest of these, I'm going to go through and take up the old solder with my vacuum pump. So you can see that makes a much quicker job of taking these up. I added a bit of flux here, but actually you don't need to if you're using the soldering pump. They should just pop out, much easier than with the solder wick. And again, remembering that the negative is the side with the stripe. Then we can just add a bit of fresh solder and put those into place. Let's just trim those legs off. And done. So I'm just going to speed through the rest of the footage. Let's just get all those capacitors in place, and it'd be really great if you maybe liked and subscribed to the video. You could leave your comments in below. Let me know if you think that this is actually going to fix the problem or not. So this is the capacitor layout that I'm following for my Megadrive. Don't take this as gospel, don't follow this for your Megadrive because there's multiple board revisions, so you want to make sure you're installing the right capacitor kit for your variant. But yeah, let's just speed through the rest of the footage, go grab a brew, and I'll see you in a minute. If there is a problem with the capacitors, I'm expecting it to be somewhere in this region. There is a possibility it's the image processing chip, but I sincerely hope it's not that. If it is, it's going to be a problem for another day. So we're all done. Let's just give it a little bit of a clean, and now we can test it. So we'll just plug in our composite lead. There we go. It's a little bit stiff, but it goes in. Put on the power. Obviously take care because this is all taken apart. And let's see what happens. Let's pop in a game. So I've got Mega Bomberman here. Classic. And we're getting exactly the same problem. Okay, this is pretty frustrating. I mean, are we getting a bit more color here? It's hard to tell. Maybe we've made a slight improvement, but if it is, it's marginal. This is so frustrating. Okay, I think maybe I'm going to tackle the voltage regulators. They weren't showing as faulty, but I think let's do it. Let's see if the voltage regulators help fix the problem. Okay, so let's desolder the voltage regulators. Just going to use my vacuum pump again just to suck it up. Got to suck up a lot these days. Oh, that one fell straight out. Nice. Let's just clear that out of the way. Take this one out. Oh, still a little bit of solder holding that one in. Just going to grab my iron and just see if we can loosen that out slightly. Just tease it out. Don't want to rip a pad off. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is actually just reattach the heatsink just to help me line up the voltage regulators. The last thing I want to do is actually solder them into the wrong position so that they don't fit into the heatsink. So we'll just whack those screws in for a second, so temporarily. I've not added any thermal paste yet. Just going to get these soldered into place first. Lots of flux, and then we can just come in with the iron. I'm just going to speed through this because you've seen quite a lot of soldering already. And to be frank, it's quite late and this soldering is likely to be a bit rough. I'm not sure my iron is actually reading the right temperature because this solder just doesn't seem to want to melt. Anyway, have we fixed the issue? No, we're still getting exactly the same problem. Exactly the same flickering screen. Man, okay. I'm really frustrated. I think I'd really like to fix at least one problem today. So let's see if we can actually just fix the LED light. So you've got a 25-minute long video and all I managed to achieve is fixing an LED. So the original connector's soldered in, so we're going to have to take that out. So I'm just going to use my desoldering pump just to take out the old solder. Now we've done that, we should just be able to release the old, maybe, hopefully we can pull this out. Release the old connector, there we go. Now we've done that, we can install the new JST connector. It's just a 2.5mm connection, I believe, and if we have to replace the LED again in the future, it should just make it a little bit easier. Anyway, let's just solder this connection into place. There we go. Definitely is getting late. Oh, made a bit of a mess there. Anyway, we need to connect the old LED plug onto the new wires. So I'm just adding a bit of solder there just to connect them up. And you can see I've added a bit of heat shrink on there already so that we can cover up the connection. There we go. So I've just matched red to live and the black to the earth. Now we can just come in with a heat gun and just shrink the wrap up. I'd actually already done this but hadn't pushed record, so here's me faking it. Now we can just plug in the new connection. There we go. And the new LED works. Fantastic. Well, at least we've managed to fix one small problem today. So we've successfully recaptured the Megadrive, but sadly we're still getting the same image issues that we were right back at the beginning. So hi there, this is Future Charles here. I just wanted to jump in and say I think I've actually solved the problem. I was about to upload a rather unsatisfying ending to this video with the image still corrupted. I was just finishing work. I was about to go and load up the laptop to export the video ready for YouTube, and I had a Eureka moment. I suddenly thought, what if the problem isn't with the console itself, but the connection between the console and the TV? So I was using a retro scaler to be able to display the image through HDMI because I was plugging into a monitor, but I suddenly thought, if the retro scaler isn't processing the image properly, if it's a cheap cable, which it probably is because it just came bundled in with the a different Megadrive that I've got for another project. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we just are looking in totally the wrong area. And the post-it note on the front of the console with saying it got a flickering display, maybe it did have a problem, but it always surprised me that it was actually as bad as it was. So what I've done, I've robbed a TV from my bedroom, which has the right leads on the back to plug it in, the composite connection. So I reckon what we should do, let's just switch it on and see if we get a picture. And amazing, we are actually getting a picture without any distortion. This is fantastic news. Well, in one way, because we'll never know whether the recap actually solved the issue or not, but I'm going to hope that it did. You know, I put quite a lot of effort into trying to solve this problem. What we can do now is just focus on the job that I really wanted to do, which was to actually add a 50 and 60 Hertz mod so that we can play import games. So I reckon I don't want to leave this running for too long without a heatsink, so I'm going to end the video there. I'm going to turn this off and button the bad boy up, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it's really important. I really appreciate your help. But anyway, take care and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.